You lost already anyway, dust mite. Randall protected you from a one-shot KO. Now you stand zero chance. The eyes of reality are finally on my side. Even though you have the medallion that you don't even know how to use. My victory is just as much as ensured. 06. Hit me with your best shot. I dare you.
It's crazy to think that just yesterday was my senior trip. It feels like a decade now. But yeah, it's made me stronger. And in this moment, all I'm going to do is deliver something that reminds you of how much of a monster you truly are. All right, Mega Midas. You want to play mind games? Let's play mind games. I'm going to do a cover of Amethyst, Lexi. My sister. Your sister. I chose J.R. Midas as my name because I never want to be the monster that Jon E. Midas becomes. I will destroy you. Well, I'm going to read you a story coming from a third grader. The story is called The Tragedy on MILLSBURY Street. All right, here we go. The Tragedy on MILLSBURY Street by Amethyst, Lexi. It was a dark, foggy afternoon at 3 p.m. Joe was living the life in his spacious beige and chestnut-colored house. All day, Joe watches TV and pays no attention to the ambiance. He thinks everything will come to him with the snap of his fingers. He doesn't realize that someday his servant, quote-unquote, more like his mom, won't be there anymore. I'm hungry, Joe called out. Well, go get some food, replied the quote-unquote servant. Real funny, Ma, Joe said with a chuckle. No, seriously, I gotta go to the store. Want to come? Asked Ma. I'd rather make my own food, replied Joe. Well, good, because you know I have to go home now, right? Yeah, go ahead. Bye, Ma said with regret. As Joe watched TV, it was like he was in the show because he didn't even notice an ominous twister was coming straight at his house. Crash. Everything went crashing down. The only reason Joe noticed because the TV got busted too. My house, Joe hissed. What happened? Joe was still clueless. Joe reached out for the phone that was in pretty good condition. I gotta call Mom, Joe stammered. Wait, I can't call her. She'll be even more stressed than usual. Well, anyway, I could just live here. I don't want to bother anyone, Joe silently said to himself. But the true reason was a little more personal. He was going to miss the memories of his life that walked through these walls, which were now burnt to a crisp. That house had sentimental value to him. Then Joe's reputation was in the toilet. Joe was soon known as a bum. Until one day, a tall girl saw Joe and gave him money. She talked to Joe in a polite way. Joe started crying. He felt wanted. Joe told that girl his story. Then he asked her what her name was. Tiffany, she replied. And don't worry, I'll figure out a way to help you. That night, Tiffany let Joe stay at her house, but she put up a fight. Joe was holding on to the grass on his floor. His nails were dug deep into the dirt. Tiffany held Joe's legs in midair. Then, Joe flipped over so Tiffany hauled him by his feet to her house. Joe pouted all the way there. He held back a tear as he said goodbye to his memories of MILLSBURY Street. It's going to be fine, Tiffany said. Joe didn't want to stay in that girly pink and purple house, but he was grateful. Even though he didn't act like it, he wished he could go back home. Plus, all day, Joe heard music blasting in Tiffany's room. He always heard the clacking of Tiffany's feet. Joe wondered if Tiffany was on the step team. He didn't want to be rude and ask her. But after a while, he got used to that new house. He thought he could make new memories. This was Joe's new beginning where he could start over. Joe told his mom everything. She's glad he's okay. Joe is learning how to take care of himself in that house. He's finally responsible. Also, he never thought twice about MILLSBURY Street because he's content where he lives now.